gentlemen.
You're listening to
You asked for it.
the Rabbit Hole Podcast.
Precisely on schedule.
Brought to you by
I'm your Huckleberry.
absolutely no sponsors.
You gotta be shitting me.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Run! It's for dinner!
Run, Forrest, run!
It's all part of the plan.
Great Scott. Hang on, baby Jesus. This is gonna get bumpy.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
Say hello to my little friend.
Because I guarantee you I won't be showing you any mercy.
Don't be so dang literal.
Just do it!
If the ionization rate is constant for all ectoplasmic entities, we could really bust some heads. In a spiritual sense, of course.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Podcast, Episode 1.
Welcome.
I am your host, Masakize, alongside
Jadakai.
and today we're talking about the Mandela Effect.
Ooh.
So, for those of you that don't know, the Mandela Effect is kind of a phenomenon that occurs where people seem to remember things differently than they actually occurred. And it got its name after Nelson Mandela. He, of course, died in 2013. But a lot of people seem to remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, which I had not heard of until maybe a few years ago.
I had no clue of it. I always just remember him being alive until, 2013, but that's just me.
Right. It's this whole phenomenon, the Mandela Effect, has taken on a life of its own. There are so many examples of it, and I'm gonna just start out by just asking you a few things. What was the line from Forrest Gump?
What was the line from Forrest Gump? Well, there's a lot of lines in Forrest Gump.
Yes, but the box of chocolates line.
Oh, come on. This one's easy. Because I've watched this movie so many times. He says it two different ways, but the main way, I guess, would be, Mama always said life is like a box of chocolate.
That would be wrong, sir.
My mama always said life is like a box of chocolates.
He didn't say is, he said was.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Was. Okay, that's cutting hairs though, because that's remembering one little word just a little bit differently.
That's right, but see, here's the thing: a lot of the examples of the Mandela Effect come down to just one word being remembered differently.
Well, then that's just because people, hear something from way back when and they can't remember every word, so you fill it in with another word that's similar, or spice it up a little bit. I don't know. That one, I feel like that's a cheap one. Like the one we were talking about the other day, though, that one really blew my mind, where we were talking about how Smokey the Bear has suspenders. And I had the pop, and I was like, I remember I've looked at that pop vinyl so many times. I know for a fact Smokey the Bear's standing there with red suspenders on and holding a shovel. And then I go upstairs to get him, and there's no suspenders. That one was what really got me. I was like, I know I've seen this bear. I've looked at this same pop vinyl so many times. How would I not recognize a difference like that as suspenders? Something that's pretty obvious to notice. Red suspenders on a bear.
Yeah. There's quite a few instances of the Mandela Effect that have actually blown my mind. Like, I look at it from a skeptic's perspective still, but it does blow my mind the amount of things that I remember wrong, Yeah. For instance, line from I Love Lucy, Ricky Ricardo, everyone always quoted it all over the place, even on, you see it even quoted on like Saturday Night Live and stuff, the same way. Where he says, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. But apparently he was never filmed saying that phrase, and instead he was filmed "Splain that if you can" and "Lucy, splain." The only two ways that he was ever filmed saying "splain."
Okay, that one I can get that because I remember it as "You got some splaining to do."
Yeah, that's actually mind blowing.
Maybe that one can be boiled down to as, you know, other pop culture, like you said, SNL, seeing it on that, and then you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, but you remember it differently because SNL has now planted that in your brain. So you can remember things differently from suggestion.
We're going to roll back to Smokey Bear real quick.
Is there something else you found?
Yes. It's a one-word thing.
Only you can prevent forest fires. Only you.
Most people know him as Smokey the Bear, but he's actually
Smokey Bear.
only Smokey Bear.
And I think I've said Smokey the Bear, but
I think we've all said Smokey the Bear. We've all called him Smokey the Bear. Or the way that... here's another one. Kitkat. Does it have a hyphen or doesn't it?
I'm trying to visualize the packaging right now. I can see a Kitkat. It's a really good candy bar. I feel like it does have a hyphen. Yes, there's a hyphen, right?
Nope.
There's no hyphen. It's two separate words, or is it one word?
It's one word. But the K's are both capital, but they're smushed together as like one word.
Oh, so it's like drunk text.
Drunk text, yeah, drunk text. I got one for you. The Mr. Rogers theme song.
Okay.
Will you quote it for me?
I can't. I don't remember it.
Most people remember it as "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood."
Oh, yeah, that one. Okay, yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What is it? Okay, so it's not a beautiful day in the neighborhood?
Nope.
Is it... I have no clue.
A beautiful day in this neighborhood. It's another one-word change.
See, the one-word changes don't impress me as much. Maybe I'm just...
They don't impress me that much either because they're easy to poke holes in the theory.
Yeah.
With those ones.
I need really mind-blowing stuff, especially with it being October right now. I want something that's like a spooky Mandela effect.
Cheez-It or Cheez-Its?
Cheez-It or Cheez-Its? It's Cheez-It.
Yeah. Okay, so we both remember that correctly.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of people remember Cheez-Its with a Z at the end.
Nah, I don't remember that. I mean, I've said Cheez-Its to people, you know, asking them if they want some, like trying to make it plural. But as far as the logo, I remember it as Cheez-It. I think doesn't Cheese Nips have a Z instead of an S? Is that where?
Yes, I do believe, or it might be Cheese Nip.
It might be Cheese Nip. I don't know. There's another Mandela effect for you in the snack
Yeah,
category.
we'll have to go down that rabbit hole another time. But we've got so many examples of... How about Froot Loops? The way that fruit is spelled. Is it spelled O-O or is it spelled normal?
It's F-O-O-T. I mean, F-R-O-O-T.
Yeah, F-R-O-O-T.
Yeah,
it's always been spelled that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently a lot of people remember Froot Loops being spelled with fruit the correct actual spelling of fruit. Which I don't ever remember. I remember it always, the logo even, like...
Yeah, I can see the logo in my mind with the two...
they actually use the actual
O's,
loops, as O's.
Yeah,
and they've always done that.
The O's. Now, bonus credit, can you tell me what color the loops were in the two O's?
Are they always the same color?
You want to know what? I can't honestly tell you without looking at different packaging.
You know what? Let me look it up real quick because that could be another little situation. So what I'm seeing here in the images is it's always the same.
For cheese nips though, it is nips, but it's spelled with an S.
It
not
is
a
spelled
Z.
with an S?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
And what were the colors for the loops?
okay, so the top 2 loops are green and then purple, and then the bottom 2 are blue and yellow. Yeah, every single package.
Okay. And that's the
Even the ones with marshmallows, even
how
the
many different colors does it have in the actual loops? Because I see a few pictures over there of all the colors.
Yeah, so there's 6 colors, 6 normal colors in Froot Loops. There's the purple, the red, the yellow, the blue, the orange, and the green.
Okay. And they used 4 out of the 6 for the logo.
Yeah, they used 4 out of the 6 for the logo.
Not bad. Not bad, Froot Loops.
Not bad, Froot Loops. How about this one? Does Curious George have a tail?
No, he doesn't, does he?
Nope, he does not have a tail. A lot of people remember him having a tail.
Yeah, you'd think, because he's a monkey. Monkeys have tails. So, that's kind of weird. I guess he's like Goku and got his tail pulled off. You think Curious George was turning into a great ape? Asking all them questions?
He was curious.
He was curious, man.
He was curious.
Alright, throw another one at me. What else we got from Mandela Effects that I should know?
The spelling of Berenstain Bears. Or Berenstain Bears.
Man, I barely remember that book.
It's always been the Berenstain Bears. But apparently, and I as a kid remember it being
I remember
IE.
Bearstein.
Yeah.
I thought it was Bearstein. Or at least that's how all of us kids in that grade that would be reading that book, which was like, what, first grade? Half of us couldn't read that well anyway at that time.
You remember the Gremlins movie, right?
Yeah?
Do you remember the name of the villainous gremlin?
I don't.
Well, okay. A lot of people remember his name as Spike. His actual name was Stripe.
Stripe.
Of course, everyone knows Gizmo because he was the
cute
titular
one.
character.
He was cute.
Well, I wouldn't say titular character. His name isn't Gremlin, but in the movie's not called Gizmo. But still, he's the main Mogwai. Location of New Zealand. Is it on the northeast or southeast?
So are you saying, is it above or below?
Australia.
It's above Australia.
That's what I always thought too, but apparently it's in the southeast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it says.
Well then, okay. This is one of those that's kind of a little bit of a mind blower, but at the same time, it's not something that I'm super mind blown about either.
Yeah. Let's see. Febreze. Does it have 2 E's in breeze or 1? Hey,
It has.
you're cheating over there. You got a freaking can of Febreze over there.
I do not. This right here is
folks.
That is.
You're being lied to.
That is spray paint.
You're being lied to, folks.
Okay, I have a can of Febreze, yes. And you know what? This one is not something that should be mind-blowing because most people have cans of Febreze in their house. Okay? So, Febreze, in Breeze, it has 2 E's. And a Z in the middle of the 2 E's. But let me guess, people only remember 1 E in it?
No, the actual logo, it says here that the logo has always been with 1 E. And you're looking at the logo right now.
It has 3 E's in total. It is F-E-B.
No, I mean like in the Breeze side of the... Oh, I guess technically you got the final one, yeah. So it should have 4... people remember it with 4 E's. There's only 3 E's.
Yes, there's only 3 E's on here.
Right.
And it's not...
People remember it with
and
4 E's for some reason.
I've been saying it wrong only because I'm Southern. But I've been calling it Febreze like my whole life when it's really Febreze.
Yeah.
Febreze.
Yeah.
The odor eliminator. And not one of our sponsors.
How about the spelling of Skechers? Does it have a T or no?
In Skechers?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I don't think it does.
No, it does not. But a lot of people do remember it with a T.
Hey, yo. Yeah, because I guess by common spelling, it would need a T. Maybe I don't know. A lot of brands spell things incorrectly to give it that individuality, so they can trademark their brand, and nobody can use that spelling. So, I mean, in that sense, it's hard to say whether a brand spelling is correct or not, because they usually go on a limb and spell it weird anyway. So, but other Mandela effects, I really want a hard-hitting Mandela effect here, man.
Well, let's see. One of the big ones that gets people is from Star Wars. Because everyone would misquote the line from Empire Strikes Back, where Darth Vader tells Luke that he's his father. People always would misquote it saying, "Luke, I am your father." But that's never what he actually said. He said, Obi-Wan never told you about your father. He says, he told me enough. He told me you killed him. And then Darth Vader says, "No, I am your father." And that's always been, "No, I am your father," not "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars ones, though.
There is.
There's a lot of Star Wars Mandela effects. That would be a whole separate episode if we were to jump into every single Star Wars Mandela effect.
Sure. You want to talk about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? I mean, there's a whole bunch of them with that one, but like the biggest one with Snow White is the mirror, mirror on the wall thing.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers it being mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. But she actually says magic mirror on the wall instead. And I actually remember it as mirror, mirror on the wall, you know?
Yeah, but I mean,
if you go back and watch it, you know?
Even marketing has misspelled it. I can remember cups and toys and stuff that our sisters had that said mirror, mirror on the wall. I know it said mirror, mirror on the wall for sure. But yeah, those are a lot of spelling things, and I feel like the ones with like one word changes or spelling changes really aren't as crazy.
Does the Monopoly Man have a monocle?
Yeah, he's got a monocle.
No, he never did.
What?
Ha ha ha. That's a big one. It's because people are confusing him with Mr. Peanut, because Mr. Peanut has a monocle.
Yeah. I say give the Monopoly Man a monocle. He needs it.
He deserves it. Some people remember Pikachu having black at the end of his tail, but he's never had black at the end of his tail.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
I guess that's somebody who doesn't have Pikachu ingrained in their skull, though. Somebody who, has only seen pictures once off. Maybe parents that got their kids Pokemon cards, but actually never cared about Pokemon themselves. Like my dad might say Pikachu had black on the end of his tail. He had black stripes on his back. Black on the tip of his ears.
I'm trying to find some more.
What was that about Freddie Mercury?
Where? Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Okay. We Are the Champions. The ending of the song. Okay, so many people remember Freddie Mercury belting out "of the world" at the end of We Are the Champions, but it never happened. However, Freddie does sing the words at the end of the song during the band's famous Wembley Stadium performance. So, but the actual recording of the song,
he doesn't say "of the world."
Yeah.
So he just ends it on "We Are the Champions." And then the song ends. I remember it, "of the world," but I have seen the version that you're talking about where he's live. So I think that was actually the same video that was played at the end of the movie queen.
So
Bohemian Rhapsody.
apparently, a lot of people recall learning in school that there were 51 or 52 U.S. states.
Huh?
Yeah. Some people thought that we had 51 or 52 U.S. states.
I don't get... I was always told, we have 50 stars on the...
Yeah.
Because that represents...
I think
each
people
state.
might have thought that Puerto Rico was a state. I don't know what the 52nd state would be.
I have no clue. You're adding in two new states I had no knowledge of, so I can't possibly tell you on either one of them.
Oh. Here's a big one, actually. This is, you know what? I'm surprised we haven't actually brought this up yet. So, Sinbad.
Yeah.
Playing a genie named Shazam in a movie in the 90s. Okay, now...
We had a conversation about this a month ago.
We did. The movie never happened, and neither one of us remember it that way either, but a lot of people seem to remember Sinbad playing a genie named Shazam. Obviously, we remember Kazam, where Shaq played a genie named Kazam.
Yeah, Shaq. He's the main man.
He's the main man.
Oh.
So,
I like when he did the commercials for Domino's Pizza.
obviously, Shazam is Marvel Comics property. Superhero. Billy Batson screams the word Shazam, and he became Captain Marvel, which he now is just called Shazam.
because
Captain Marvel is
Marvel's property.
Marvel's property, and that would be Carol Danvers, who is the Marvel's version of Captain Marvel. Sinbad was never Shazam. What about Neil Armstrong?
Well, what about him?
Is he dead?
I honestly don't know.
I honestly don't recall ever reading any news of him dying. But apparently, he's dead, and he died in 2012.
R.I.P.
8 years ago. I vaguely remember, I like...
The way the world has been for the past few years, ever since the 2010s really started, it's not so much about when historical figures die as like a pop icon. People are more into pop icons now than actual people who are doing, scientific work or something like that.
Here's another one. Now, this one might be a little over your head because it happened before you were born, and it's also probably one of those events you didn't really care about the date. For me, it's significant because it actually happened the year I was born. The Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. A lot of people think that it happened in 1984 or 1985, but I've always known it happened in 86 because that was significant when I learned about it in the history books. I'm like, that's the same year I was born,
Yeah. I mean, I've heard about it in school and stuff, but as far as to just go off the top of my head and tell you what year it exploded, I couldn't tell you. I'm not as into that kind of history. History just frankly bores me a lot, and I get a lot of people are into it, but it's just not my style.
Unless they make a movie about it and it's entertaining.
Yeah, I'm that,
then you'll be like, yeah,
I'm that basic dude.
You're that basic dude. See, I've always been a history buff, and it's mainly...
I like science, man. I want to learn more science. I'll watch Science Channel all day, but you put History Channel on, and especially when How It's Made comes on. I know people who are diehard fans, but I get how an Oreo is made. I just want to take a nap.
You know what always bored me in school?
What?
Sentence diagrams.
Yeah.
I hated English class I can speak the dang language. I don't need to know how to diagram a sentence, because when I grow up, I'm just going to freaking write the way I speak anyways. So, which everyone does. If you, and I'd like to say this and put this bluntly out there, okay? I can go through and I can find almost every single major publication, and I can go through nearly every single article, and I can point to you grammatical errors that I would have been freaking graded. I would have gotten a poor grade for doing, and they're throwing this out in like nearly every single article. So I feel like learning sentence diagrams in English class was obviously a waste of time, because even people who work in the field where you're supposed to know that shit, where it obviously doesn't matter anymore. So,
yeah.
Anyways, that was off topic. But yeah, Mandela Effect. Back on that topic. So here's the thing. A lot of people think that with the Mandela Effect, that they're remembering things from a separate timeline, right? And
my boy Pat Swayze's.
Okay. Oh, you want me to talk about what I got on the screen right now?
Yeah, I want to know what's going on with my boy Pat Swayze's.
People seem to remember him recovering from pancreatic cancer. I remember him dying. You remember him dying?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember him recovering, guys. He never recovered.
It was a big deal for me, man, because I loved his movies. I thought he was a tremendous actor.
I remember seeing on tabloids saying that he was going to recover or some shit like that, and I don't know.
Yeah, like he was making a good recovery or something like that. I was feeling pretty hopeful for him. Like,
I do remember the date that he died. Like, that was big news.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Leo DiCaprio. Everyone seems to think that he already won an Oscar.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't, and it makes me mad. These are
actually he has now.
He has now, yeah.
But at that point in time, no. He in 2016 he did win Best Actor
for Revenant, right?
Yeah, it was for Revenant.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was when he had to literally freaking cut inside of an actual fucking animal and get inside of it and shit. And
he's a savage.
He's a savage for that movie. He's a savage.
He's a savage for every
People
movie.
seem to remember him winning one for Titanic, though, apparently.
No, he didn't win one for Titanic, but I will say, I always thought when I was younger and I heard Leonardo DiCaprio, I always thought of his name, his last name, as like it sounded like a specialty coffee. Can I get a DiCaprio, please? Hold the phone.
You know what? There is one movie that I feel like he should have won an Oscar many years earlier for. And people might argue with me about this, but I feel like What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
That was a movie I've yet to see.
Okay,
I've heard a lot about that movie.
He played a mentally handicapped kid in that movie, and his brother was Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
and it was just an excellent movie all around. I loved that movie. He should have won an Oscar for that, but he didn't, and he didn't win one until 2016. And whoever remembers him winning one before then, you're not remembering in an alternate timeline, people. You're just remembering things wrong. That's my opinion. What about yours?
My opinion on it is, as far as the Mandela Effect, I think there's some really good ones out there that do have me scratching my head, and I want to dive in deeper. But a lot of these, what they're calling Mandela Effects, as far as like the one word change and stuff, I can just write that up as, somebody remembering it differently. And as far as, like seeing it on SNL, they might have said it a little differently, and things get planted into your mind a little bit different. Suggestion is a powerful tool psychologists use all the time.
Now, what do you think makes it attractive to actually believe in these alternate timeline theories as far as the Mandela Effect is concerned? Do you think it's like people
they're cool. I think they're cool on the fact that I'm big into you know, as far as watching sci-fi movies or TV shows, or as far as reading, I really like a good, you know, interdimensional time travel or multiverse type thing going on. But as far as it happening in real life, I don't believe it. I don't think the Mandela Effect is actually that deep.
I believe it is a phenomenon, but it's a phenomenon in the sense of the
I'm saying just because you remember something differently than me does not mean that you're my brother from an alternate universe that's gotten planted in this universe somehow through interdimensional.
I don't even think it goes that deep. I just think that like I'm not entirely I don't even know how deep it really goes, because I know that there's like way more theories on how deep the Mandela Effect goes and all these alternate timelines, and some people think that time travelers are causing it. You know, every time someone travels back in time, they create a new timeline when they change something, and then some people think that the government has these capabilities. You know, I personally believe that people are looking for an escape from reality, right? They want things, they're trying to come up with their own ways for things to make sense to them.
I agree to that.
And it's kind of difficult sometimes, like,
I mean, I think that's life, though. Everybody's searching for answers that we can ultimately, that can't be answered. We're asking questions that ultimately can't be answered in this day and age, and possibly may never be answered.
I mean, how many times when you were a kid did you watch Dragon Ball Z and then wish that you could like become a Super Saiyan or something?
So many
like that?
times.
So many times. What is like the same way that people get really into science fiction, really into time travel, really into all of these different. Granted, okay, so we very well could soon find the existence of another universe, right? And
Yeah.
actually, we're supposedly could be days away, according to the people that work at the Hadron Collider. I believe it's in Zurich, Switzerland. The idea, though, behind discovering another universe does not mean, you know, a whole another universe that's full of planets and shit like that. It's literally just, you know, we could be discovering the proof of another dimension, like a fifth dimension or something like that. And it's more scientific than it is. It's more numbers and calculations than it is, you know, science fiction.
Yeah.
You know,
It gets down to more mathematical things, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is just a head scratcher. It's something cool to talk about. It's something to pique interest in a lot of people. A lot of people can relate to this because, you know, damn near everybody has had that moment where they remember something and they remember it differently than it actually is. So when you first hear about it, it's definitely something interesting you want to dive into more. It's definitely something you want to go and research and learn. And
you know how many
figure out.
You know how many song lyrics that I've heard people misquote the same summer that the song came out?
Oh yeah.
While they were singing along with the song?
Yeah. Guilty of it myself.
I mean, it happens. We all remember things wrong.
Lyrics.
Misheard lyrics is a big one of them. You know, and you sitting there next to a person, they're singing along with the song, and you can hear, you know the words of the song, you hear it a different way than they do, I guess. Or it's just people get deep into the feel of the song, where it's less of a, that's just what they want the words to be, maybe?
Connect the dots to make it more personalized to you, you know?
Yeah, you know? And then some people literally extravagantly create their own memories by imagining things, and then they do it over and over and over again to the point where they actually believe that the things they imagined actually happened.
Yeah.
Because it's replayed in their brain so many times. These are all things that I witness people do on, occasion. I'm not going to say every day, but it's very common.
Oh yeah, it is most definitely common.
And I'm guilty of it myself. I remember things wrong. You remember things wrong. I
think it's just the human brain. We stuff so much in there. Sometimes things get rearranged. It gets a little bit jumbled up in the drawer. And you start to remember things differently. You remember this and this. Mm-hmm. But you don't remember the full length of this part and the full length of that part. So you just kind of cram both of those parts together to make a whole new story.
Yep.
And that story becomes more burnt into your brain and becomes reality. It becomes what you actually remember versus what actually happened. Excuse me.
There's a lot more to the Mandela Effect, but see, the problem with it is a very large portion of those things are the exact examples that you kind of talked about. You're not very impressed by because it's just like a letter change or one word is different, a difference between and the and something like that. And those are just like we just talked about.
Things on the internet that have been glorified a little bit more, though. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like there are real ones down that you just have to dig for, maybe. It is what it is. I mean, there's a lot still going on in today's world. We still got a lot of new movies coming. We got a lot of new video games. A lot of new consoles are about to drop. We've got
2020 hasn't been all bad.
Winter's coming for us.
In 2020, it looks like it might end on a high note.
Hey, just be careful what you wish or what you say.
Let's just not talk about the election and politics.
Oh man, no.
The rabbit hole, we go down a lot of rabbit holes, but I think that's one of those subjects that we're just not going to touch on.
No. I want to know what exactly is going on for Halloween this year. It's a little bit of a weirder situation.
Well, I mean, they're allowing trick-or-treating, but, the 6-foot distancing, the face masks, they've got guidelines. The CDC does have guidelines, and then if you're, the CDC advises, like, if you're, that afraid of it, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Stay home. Or, they're advising a lot of people not to pass out candy, like, open their door, kind of pass out candy, but just, like, put it in a bowl and put it on your front porch. Now, granted, we all know what happens when in those situations. The first couple of kids that roll through take all the candy.
Yeah.
And then the bowls are left empty. That's just how it works because people are not...
Duct tape 6-foot poles to all the buckets.
You got to dunk on it. You got to dunk on it.
You only get this candy if you can make a 3-pointer.
That's right. You got to earn this candy, kids. You got to earn it.
This year is going to separate the kids from the adults.
Yeah, right. I think everyone's just going to go home with no candy.
I think
there might be a few,
really
all the
popular.
college kids are going to take all the candy.
Yeah.
They're the only ones in shape.
I think what's really going to be popular, though, is a lot of people online are talking about small Halloween parties.
Yeah.
Like personal Halloween parties where they just, get their kids so much candy and throw a little party for them. Which is, like you say, if you're that worried about it, if you really don't want to go out, that's really a good idea.
Just do whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah. I'm just kind of grateful that I grew up in the days where we didn't have to worry about this. All our parents were worried about was candy being poisoned, which never happened.
All right, transitioning. Right now, we're going to go ahead and briefly discuss the future of the Rabbit Hole podcast, future episodes. We will be inviting my father onto the podcast to talk about both time travel in one episode at some point, and another episode to talk about the sun.
It's going to be very, very
and
interesting.
We probably have them talk about aliens at some point as well.
Yeah.
Because these are all subjects that are going to have to be their own episodes. I think we could talk for days and days and days about those subjects, because the examples go so deep into history. It's amazing. It's pretty amazing, like what a lot of these things that people believe that others are more skeptical about, myself included. I'm a skeptic on a lot of these things.
I'm a Bigfoot chaser.
He is a Bigfoot chaser. I believe that maybe there could have been a Loch Ness monster at some point, sure, but I don't know. The likelihood of it, I don't really. It's just one of those things, find proof and show me, and I'll believe it.
Definitely, since it being October, we got to donate an episode, or dedicate an episode, I should say, to the history of horror films.
Not horror films in general. Let's talk about monsters. Movie monsters.
Movie monsters, the actual...
Movie monsters.
Let's just go into a whole lore of monsters in general.
That's right.
We'll talk about the monsters from old lore, monsters from movies. I mean, we'll just go deep into that.
Werewolves, Frankenstein.
The Boogeyman.
Got your big monster movies like your Godzillas and your stuff like that. I mean, that's a...
We'll get into that. We'll have to write down. We're going to script that out. Get that ready up for you. A lot of stuff to talk about, though. We just got to start getting everything, I guess, more organized. We can't come in and just talk about 1,000 things at once. We got to donate an episode to each one. I keep saying donate, and I want to say dedicate. And I don't know what's up with that. Not enough coffee this morning.
Were you planning on donating something? Left nut?
Yeah, I just want to give a left nut to each episode. But I only have one, so I'm going to run out quick.
Like take a piece off it for every episode?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to work out. I'm going to have to find something else to donate.
Yeah. All right, folks. This has been the Rabbit Hole Podcast with Masakize and Jadakai. Signing off. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty.
I like turtles.